Hey, what's up, guys? Here's another episode of your Car Facts channel. On this episode, we're gonna show you how to check the fuel pressure on your car, especially on this car, because in this case, this car has like a misfire, like an intermittent misfire. And one of the things that we have to check is the fuel pressure with the fuel pressure tester. So at this point, I'm gonna turn on the car. As you can see, it's on. It's working properly at this time, but in a few seconds, the RPMs start to go down. If you see, and the misfire started. See, there is a misfire at this point, and you see the RPMs going up and down. You see that there are low RPMs. You see it's under 500 RPMs, so which is really low, and there is a misfire. There is a misfire on the engine. You see the engine, it's shaking. If you go to the engine compartment, you will see the engine that it's shaking. So that's why we have to check the fuel pressure, and we already have the fuel pressure tester already. So we're gonna go to the engine compartment, and I'm gonna show you how to install the fuel pressure tester in this car. This is a Nissan Sentra. It's 2001. It's not a new car or newest car. Of course, you will need something more specific. You will need some other tools, not only the fuel pressure tester. You will need some adapters, you will need some hoses, but on this case you only need the fuel pressure tester and a small hose, small fuel uh, fuel injection hose. Of course you have to use a fuel injection hose, because if you use just the regular hose, it won't work. So my friends, we're gonna go to the engine compartment at this point, and I'm gonna show you how to install it on the fuel line that is coming from the fuel pump. It's very important to do it the right way, my friends, because there is no, I mean, it doesn't have to have any leaks, so make sure no leaks when you put the fuel pressure tester. You see, here's the fuel pressure tester. We're gonna use this one. Here's the gauge. You see, it has a small hose that I was telling you about. There are another type of lines or hoses that you use on different cars, and in this one we have to remove the fuel line that comes from the fuel tank and install the gauge. Here's the other type of hoses. This is for cars like for Ford, in where you find the little valve on the fuel injector rail. So that's why you find different type of hoses on this kit. But on this case, we're gonna use only this one, which is the gauge, the T line, and a small hose. That's all what we need. You don't need to have any other special tool, because this is not a new car, it's a 2001, so it's just pretty simple. So here's the two lines. There is one for return, and the other one is the one the feed the fuel injectors. So we're gonna remove the line, which is this one, the one that comes from the fuel tank. So we're gonna lose it and try to remove the line. On this car, these lines are really tight, really tight. So you will use a screwdriver, and this one is already loose. We just have to lose a little bit more, and pull it back, Also, we have to use some pliers. I want to show you right now how to do it. Just make sure you remove it carefully. So I'm going to use the screwdriver, loose a little bit more in order to pull it back. There is, it's kind of hard to do it just with one hand because the other hand I use it for the camera. So there is. Now I'm gonna use the pliers. And you have to do it this way. There is moving a little bit. It's really, really tight. Really, really tight. It moves just a little bit. See there? It's really, really tight. It's not even moving. It moves a little bit, but just a little. We keep moving it this way. Well, that's the way I do it. Maybe you have a different method, but this is the way I do it. It didn't come out, so what we're gonna use is we have to cut the line, cut the hose, because it's already damaged. It's already damaged because of the pliers. It didn't come out, so we're gonna cut it. We cut in pliers. So we're cutting it right now. There it is. Cutting it. There we go. I'm sorry if I move the camera a lot. It's kind of hard to be recording while you're working. So I'm really sorry about that. You see, I already cut it. So now I'm gonna cut the little piece that is still on the fuel injector's rail in order to remove it. There you go. Now I'm gonna pull it back. There it is. There you go. I removed the little piece. It's there. There's no problem because there is enough hose in order to put it on the rail when we're finished. Okay, my friends, now it's time to install the gauge or the fuel pressure tester. It's gonna be kind of hard to do it with one hand, so I already cut the video. I already installed it. You see, that's the way it has to go. We have there. That line with the hose is really, really tight, so I don't think it's gonna leak. But I always check before I start the car. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go inside the car and I'm going to put the key on the on position to create pressure and see if it won't leak. So that's the next step. So okay, my friends, I did that. There was no leak at all. You see, the fuel pressure is around 34. So what we have to know now is what's the fuel pressure specifications on this car. That's what we need now. So we have to go to the menu on the computer and check the specifications of the Nissan Sentra 2001 1.8 liter. So let me go to the computer at this point and I'm gonna show you the specifications. There it is. We have here the specification for this specific car, and it says with regulator vacuum hose connected, we have to have 235 kilopascals, which is 34 psi. With the regular vacuum hose disconnected, we have to have 294 kilopascals, which is 43 psi. So now we have the right information to compare it with the readings that we're gonna have right now on the gauge from the fuel pressure tester. So I'm gonna start the car at this point and check what are the readings that we have. So there it is. We're gonna start it. There you go. So now we're gonna go to the engine compartment and see the readings of the gauge from the fuel pressure tester. Okay, here is we having around 41, 42 psi of fuel pressure, which is kind of high. I think it's kind of high, so maybe that's why it's kind of like misfiring, because there is too much fuel going through the injectors. Like I said, on the manual said it has to have around 34 and 43 if you disconnect the fuel pressure regulator, which is this one right here. It seems like somebody else changed it already. They put some fuel pressure regulator from a junkyard. It's marked. So we disconnected and we see that it increased the fuel pressure to 45. But when I connect it, it keeps you see it goes over 40. It's around 41, around 42, which is high. It's a high fuel pressure. I don't think it's working properly. I don't think the fuel pressure regulator is working properly. So it is recommended to change it. You have to replace it, because like I said, we gotta have around 34, 35 on idle, and at this point we have around 40, 41, 42, which is kind of high. That's the reading we had to have if we disconnect the vacuum hose from the regulator. So it's not normal. It's not normal at all. So my friends, this is the way how to change, or I mean how to check the fuel pressure on your car. This is a Nissan Sentra 2001, but it's kind of the same method on all cars. See you.